Hi Blender fans and welcome to Blender TC. In today's tutorial we're going to be making a straw. We're going to do this using the warp tool. Let's begin. Let's just go over a few quick keys. We're going to be doing this in the modeling window, and tab will take you in and out of edit mode. G will allow you to move things around, Control Z will undo, G and X will move it along the red line, G and Y across the green line, and G and Z top to bottom along the blue line. And Control Z always undoes things so we can get back to the front. Right, X deletes an object because we don't need this cube. There we go. For this tutorial we're going to start off with a cylinder, so add a mesh, and we're going to add a cylinder. I'm then going to scale the cylinder by a quarter, so scale 0.25, and we've now scaled that to a quarter of its original size. Scale Z by 4, and we've just made part of our straw. What I'm going to do now is we're going to actually do a loop cut, but first of all what we'll do is we'll get rid of the top and the bottom. So select that face and select that face, X to delete faces. So now we've actually got a tube. Then we're going to select a edge. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's an edge or a face. We're going to select an edge and Control and R, and then I'm going to type 23, which actually puts 23 loop cuts. You can select on here and you can change the loop cuts as well with this menu. I'm just going to keep it at 23, and I'm just going to minimize that again. So with that done, what I'm going to do is select this face and then every other face by pressing Shift, Alt and left clicking. Like so. Now with all those selected, what I'm going to do is press the S key and then scale them down. As you can see, that seems to have done it wrong, so Control and Z to undo. But what we do is we go up here, and what we've got is we've got individual origins, and we need to switch that on now. So switch that on. Press the 1 key on your number pad just to look from the front, and we're just going to press the S key again and then move the mouse down just to scale this down until we get the tube of a straw. And this is what we're going to warp round in an arc. So first of all I'm just going to add a little bit more geometry, so I'm going to select that top face, and then I'm going to go on to select and select loops. So select edge rings, and that selects all the actual edges. Control and B will add a bevel modifier, and if we open it up, I'm just going to actually make it 0.2. This is just going to sharpen the edges when we go on smooth select by pressing the right key and smoothing it. So now we've got the actual tube of the straw, so let's put the bend in it. So pressing the 1 key on the number pad, we look from the front, G and Z, just to take it up above the actual cursor. The warp tool actually generally does it around the cursor. You can move the cursor by holding the shift down and right clicking, like so. But for this we're going to actually leave it at the bottom again, and now we'll go into edit mode. Press the tab key, select the top ring by pressing the Alt key and selecting that line, and then we're going to press Control and plus just to grow this down the ways until we've got most of them, the loops selected apart from the bottom 3. So press the 1 key to look from the front, Shift and W, and that allows us to actually move our mouse just to actually get the desired effect. So I think that's about right for my straw, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm then going to actually select this edge on the bottom by pressing the Alt key and the left clicking. Back out slightly with your mouse wheel, then E and Z just to finish our straw off. And of course we need the bit that your mouth goes into, the mouth goes around on the straw. So E and Z, no sorry, just E. Then select it up to somewhere that looks about right, which I think is about there. And that's it. We've now done a straw. I'm just going to add an edge loop, Control and R, just to sharpen it round the top edge to stop distortion when we subdivide it. Control and R. In fact, we may not need to subdivide it. So we've now got a straw, and all we need now is a cup. So add in a mesh, and the mesh we're going to add in is a circle. So we've added in a circle. As you can see, the cursor's in the wrong place, so what I'm going to do, X to delete the cursor, and if we press the N key and then go on to the view, as you can see it has the 3D cursor and its location, so I'm just going to reset this to 0, which puts it back in the center and in the right place if for some reason you've moved it to the wrong place. So add in a circle, mesh, circle, and I'm just going to scale that down because this is going to be our hole. Press the tab key to go into edit mode, E and S just to scale it out slightly, E and S again. And then what I'm going to do is E and S, sorry, Control Z. What I'm going to do is E and Z and move it in the up direction just to put a tight ring there, and E and Z, less tight, just one there, making a bigger gap, and E and Z, one more just to make it nice and tight. This, when we subdivide the actual cup, will make a very tight ring. The more of the space, the more gentle the arc. So E and S to scale, just to about there, because I'm going to have a, and E and S to scale again, because I want a bit of a bevel on the outside. So E and S, sorry, E and Z, just to go down, E and Z, down again, and to make the base I'm going to go E and S just to scale it in, G and Z just to move it down slightly just to make that kind of shape you get on the cups, and E and S just to scale it down, and then finally E and Z, move it up to make the lip. So we've now got a lid. I'm just going to add a modifier, so hit the actual spanner or the wrench, add the modifier, subdivide surface, and as you can see, hit the smooth shader, and now we've got a nice ring around the outside edge, a sharp edge there, and a ring on the inside as well. Right, next thing, I'm just going to move the straw up slightly because it seems to be in the wrong place, so G and Z just to move it up slightly, just to make it look like more like a drinks cup that you get in a takeaway or in a cafe bar. And in a mesh, and I'm going to add in a circle, G and Z just to move it down, and just scale it up. In fact, G and Z, I'm just going to move it up so it's just G and Z, just about there, so it's just vanishing, and G and Z just to take it under the lid until it vanishes, and then S to scale and scale it up just so it goes beyond there, and I'm just going to scale it down slightly until it just disappears. Scale it down, keep doing it until you can see it just slightly reappear, And I'm going to go E and S just to scale it inwards. But of course that's not in edit mode, so Control and Z to undo that. Press the tab key to go into edit mode. E and S to scale it inwards. E and Z to take it down. Get it to the desired area, and then just S to scale to make the walls of your cup. E and S to scale to make the base. E and Z, just move it slightly to make a smaller ring, and E and Z again just to make that sharp face. E and Z again just to move it up slightly just to make this sharp corner there, and E and S, and we're going to scale that down, and F to fill the base in just to finish it off. Going out of edit mode and then smooth shade. As you can see, we've got some distortion there, so what I'm going to do is Control and R and add a loop cut there, Control and R, and one up there just to get better reflections when we actually make this cup into a shiny object. Right, so that's it. Our cup's more or less done. Just going to fasten these all together. Right click and join them together. Control Z just to undo that, because one of these has actually got a subdivision modifier on there which we haven't applied, so I'm just going to apply that before we join them up. Apply, and then just join them all up to each other. Join, and finally the last thing we'll do is we're going to press Control and A, and then rotation and scale. This is always a good idea, and all it does is actually put your scale back to 1, so you can see 1 1 1. So then if we want to actually scale our cup at a later date, as you can see the whole thing scales uniformly. Control Z to undo. Looking from the camera, as you can see, the cup's far too big. So let's scale it down and move it up, G and Z, just so it actually rests on the green line. And what I'm going to do is move the camera up as well, G and Z, just to fetch it back into center of shot, and quickly add in a plane. Scale it up, rotate the plane, scale it up, oops, scale it up, rotate the plane in the Z direction, rotate by Z, which will actually rotate it that way. And finally I'm just going to select that edge in edit mode, E and Z, just to move it up, and I'm going to put a bevel modifier onto this, so Control and B on that line. I'm just going to increase this up so it's nice and wide, and then increase the segments, which of course will put a loop in to get a bit of a studio look, and then with it selected just smooth shade just to give us a false horizon. So let's start colouring things in. For this cup we're going to have 3 colours, and of course we're going to have a floor colour. So select your cup, add the 3 colours, new, and then we can add another one by pressing the plus key and put new, and a plus key and new. So one I'm going to call lid, LID. One I'm going to call cup for the cup colour, and of course finally I'm going to have one that's straw. In fact, I'm going to add one more colour, new. I'm going to have straw 1 and straw 2. If we go into render mode, as you can see we've now got a cup, but it's pretty plain, so we're just going to add some quick colour quickly. So into edit mode, I'm just going to select the straw itself, press the, and I'm going to add colour 1 to the straw. I'm going to make it a shiny white and take the roughness down to 0 and just assign it. Straw 2 colour, I'm going to make that a deep red. Make it metallic slightly. And make it smooth again. Just so it picks up reflections. And what we're going to do is I'm going to press the 1 key to look from the front.
L key.
Sorry. In fact, I don't need this this studio background, so I'm just going to hide that by pressing the H key. To unhide it, you press Alt and H. But we're going to hide it by pressing H. So looking from the front, as you can see, it's pretty hard to see, so we're going to hit this button here, which allows us to look at it a bit more clearly. Into edit mode, and what I'm going to do is select face select, press the shift key down and the alt key, and I'm just going to select this edge. In fact, A to deselect all. I'm going to select this edge, which didn't work. A to deselect all. What I'm going to do is Shift and Alt, select this edge, select this edge, select that edge there, and I'm going to select the top edges here and a couple of edges here, and then just colour them in red. So assign the red colour to them, and that gives our straw a bit of interest in that we've now made a white plastic striped straw. Try saying that. The cup is going to be blue, so just colour it in blue. Back into edit mode, select the face of the cup, L to select all the cup, and just assign the blue colour. So assign, I'm going to just make this a bit more shiny. Take the metallic up, take the roughness down so it'll reflect the light, and finally select the cup, press L to select all the connected parts, and let's have a look. The last colour, which is the lid itself, I'm just going to make this slightly plasticky, give it a bit of sheen, take the roughness down. I want this to look a bit plasticky. As you can see, you've got the highlight of the actual colour there, and as you can see, that makes it look quite plasticky. So there we have it. Roughly, I think that's our cup about done. All I'm going to do now is Alt and H to unhide, look through the camera, add in a HDRI. These I get from HDR Avon, and you will find them the link on my main page on my site, or the about one on my site. And what I'm going to do is now add an environmental texture which turn the screen purple, and I'm going to open a HDR from my file on HDR Heaven, and I'm just going to use the Cavely picture, or the Cavely HDRI, just because it's got quite good reflections. And finally, just add a floor colour. New, make it a beigey colour. Take the metallic up so it reflects. It doesn't quite obscure the actual shadow. Take the roughness down, just to give it a bit of interest. F12. And there you have it. One cup on a background. As you can see, it looks quite realistic, and if you want to actually work on it a bit more, and here's the one I did earlier with a little bit more work on the lighting, and if we just render that one out, all I've done here is add a bit more shine to the cup and a few more lights just to give it a bit of realism. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe and leave comments. Bye for now.